Today's video is brought to you by Sir Sillage Sniffington, the most sophisticated smelling lad in all the land. Hailing from the heart of London, Sir Sniffington truly believes that smelling amazing in a way that moves you is what makes life special. Sir Sniffington's ethos is so moving to me that I was inspired to create this video. Thank you, Sir Sillage Sniffington. Joking aside, this video would not exist without the recommendation of Sir Sillage Sniffington, who left this idea on a community post I made not long ago. So I want to thank you so much for making this video possible, and I'm thrilled to bring it to you guys. So the title says it all. We have 5 fragrances we're talking about that are generally polarizing within the community. It is no secret that there are many people who really love these scents and many people who don't at all, and that's okay. We are entitled to love what we love and to dislike what doesn't move us. Now, for the most part, the 5 fragrances I've chosen are ones that I enjoy. There's one that I don't really care about, but I don't hate it. But nonetheless, we're offering 5 alternatives to each of these fragrances that you might actually love. They're fragrances that smell similar in character, some of them really closely, but not clones, and they should all serve the same function. So with all that out the way, let's dive right into it. The first fragrance up that few of you guys like, and those of you who do, I stand with you. Gucci Guilty Absolute. This is a love or hate it. For me, this is an absolute love. I understand the hate though. Leathery, dry, woody, smoky, a little green, and a little bit medicinal in a way. To me, this smells authoritative and confident. To others, it smells like a dentist's office or a doctor's office. I get it. I know I can't make you love it. I can implore you to try it if you haven't tried it in sample form. But if you don't like it, here's an alternative. This fragrance is also built on woods and leather, but it is way more supple, way less brash and intense, but just as sophisticated. This is from Bottega Veneta. It's Pour Homme, the original eau de toilette. Much lighter than the Gucci. This is nowhere near as aggressive. It does wear light on the skin. It leaves a very sophisticated bubble around it. Again, more on the fresh green piney side of things, but still with this supple leathery base that Bottega Veneta is known for. Smells utterly classy. It smells like you're not trying too hard. You smell clean, but with confidence. So if you haven't checked this one out yet, there's going to be a link down below to try Bottega Veneta Pour Homme. Up next is one of those oddly polarizing fragrances. Many of you would smell this and would think, how could anyone not like this? Honestly, I felt that way up until I started seeing many comments of people saying this smells like Vicks Vapo Rub. It is what it is. This is Layton from Parfums Marley. I do believe it's the geranium note in conjunction with something else, or maybe just the geranium on its own, that reminds people of this very aggressively mentholic freshness that is not pleasant. I don't get that, but again, we're all different. For me, this comes across as sweet, fresh, spicy, apple, vanilla, cinnamon, cardamom. I almost get this apple pie vibe in there. It does have a playful, sexy quality to it without being juvenile. So I do respect Layton and I do enjoy wearing it. But for those of you who don't, here's an alternative. Now, I can't guarantee you're going to love this fragrance, but there is a chance you'll like it more than Layton. This is DesirToxic from Micallef. This is no real stranger, but it's nowhere near as popular as Layton. I do consider it to be a distant cousin of Layton. It carries some similar facets to its profile. This intense, fresh, spicy cardamom that is very alluring and inviting. This very sensual sweetness to it, almost vanilla, but I think it is tonka bean in here. But this does have a darker side. Oak moss, cannabis in here, this dark, damp earthiness that gives the fragrance a little bit of edge, gives it a little bit more depth and interest, so it's not just straight up generic, fresh, spicy, sweet. I love that about the scent. And I think it just smells maybe a little bit more grown up in a way than Layton. So no mentholic weirdness in this one. You might like it. Check it out. Now, I can attest to this one. I used to hate this fragrance. When I first tried it, it was an absolute no-go. I ran for the hills. There were no hills, but I ran. This is Terre from Hermes. Yes, dirty, earthy orange is what people say. So be it. I can see where they're coming from because that's how I felt when I first smelled it. I love it now, but for those of you that will not change your mind or your nose still does not agree with it, here's one to check out. This is from Daniel Hossier. It's called Vetiver. The funny thing about this fragrance is that it was introduced to me at a perfumery in California. California, the sales associate gave me a tester strip, having already sprayed it, told me to smell it and tell her what I thought. I took a whiff.
Oh, Terre Hermes.
And she's like,
nope.
I'm like,
if this is not Terre Hermes, what is it?
She said, this is Daniel Jose vetiver. I put it on my skin, and at the time I still wasn't crazy about Terre Hermes, but I smelled this up close on my hand and I was like, I need to have this. So I bought it right then and there. And this takes Terre Hermes, that kind of scent character. You still have the dry, slightly bitter vetiver, but there's more of a smooth, rounded quality to it. Less spicy, less sharp around the edges. It is maybe a little bit more refined. However, I find the Parfum version of Terre Hermes to be even more refined than this, but I can't guarantee that those who hate the original will like that because it is still based on that DNA. This is kind of a sidestep away from the authoritative nature that Terre Hermes has. Trust me, it's still a confident smelling scent. It's still very elegant for being fresh, woody, and a little bit citrusy, but it's just way more palatable. So this is a good stepping stone to maybe find your way back to Terre Hermes if it wasn't for you. That's Daniel Jose vetiver. Many will call this a timeless masterpiece, and I would agree, but it's still polarizing. Tuscan leather from Tom Ford. Very brash, ashy leather with a little bit of this raspberry-like sweetness, some saffron in there. There's a warmth to it, but there is a darkness that is not necessarily something you want to hug or get close to. You smell it, it can be a little bit intimidating. So I get why people don't like this stuff. I've always been intrigued by it ever since I first tried a sample of it years ago, but I actually really enjoy it now. However, for those that haven't come around, check this out. From Argos, Baccio Immortale. It does smell quite similar to Tuscan leather, except way smoother and a little bit more on the green smoky side of things. There is birch in here that lends a smokiness, but it's still quite aromatic. The raspberry in here, if you're asking me, smells even a little bit more authentic than it does in Tuscan leather. It smells more realistic. It smells like a real juicy raspberry wrapped in green smoky leather with some woods backing it up. Just as elegant, but again, way smoother. So I don't think you'll be running away from this one. Check it out. Use the code FRESH10 to save 10% on any purchase from Argos down at the link below. And if you're wondering which fragrance I was going to talk about that I said I don't really care for, it's this one. Dior Sauvage. It's fine. If there was one word I was going to use to describe Dior Sauvage, it's fine. Fresh shower gel, very modern smelling, not a whole lot of depth, not a whole lot of evolution. It's one of those fragrances that gets the job done. It has a function. You kind of spray it and forget it. I get it. I can appreciate that, but I'm looking to be moved by my fragrances. Nonetheless, there are people who do find it repulsive, who find it way too synthetic, way too sharp, way too metallic. If that's you, but you want something that smells still very fresh, spicy, a little bit alluring, but incredibly versatile, you have to check this out. From Precious Liquid, this is Salt and Pepper. The way I like to describe this fragrance, if you can imagine Dior Sauvage as a cartoon, some kind of animated rendition of itself, then Salt and Pepper is the live action version of it. It is real people. It's way more natural smelling. It is kind of a natural smelling Dior Sauvage in a way. It does have this blue kind of freshness to it. It does have this very natural mineralistic salt quality to it. A very real smelling black pepper. That is mostly what I get. But all that comes together as something, again, very naturalistic. It smells like it belongs on your body, but it doesn't smell like you just bathed with shower gel. It just smells like you're clean, but it still has this slightly sexy vibe to it. The performance is quite good for me, if that's something that matters to you. I know a lot of you who want a versatile fragrance, you want something that will last. For me, this does last. So I think I can almost guarantee you're gonna like this fragrance, and especially more than Dior Sauvage. Can I guarantee that you're gonna love it? I can't guarantee you're gonna love anything,
but you might.
Let me know if you've tried Salt and Pepper from Precious Liquid, and if you haven't, there's going to be a link with a really special discount code down below in the description. Once again, thank you, Sir Sillage Sniffington, for the thoughtful recommendation. I want all of you to let me know what you think of these replacements down in the comments. And I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.